Hi everyone, we are back with another makeup collection video, and as you guys I'm sure can see from the title and also from what is in front of me right now, we are doing a really exciting one. This is going to be all my highlighters. I am in the middle of Vlogmas and I thought what better way to celebrate the holidays than by swatching some beautiful shiny highlighters. So if you guys are interested in seeing my highlighter collection, then please stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome to another Vlogmas video. I figured that this would be a perfect one because I love highlighters, and what can be more festive than highlighters? I am going to swatch most of these as we go, and I am not sure if I'm going to declutter any or not. I might, if I feel kind of in the spur of the moment, the inspiration to do so. There are definitely a few highlighters in my collection that are sort of on the chopping block, if you will. And I do have a video up with some eyeshadow palettes that is called my Basket of Doom, which is sort of my version of the chopping block. If you guys are curious to see that after this video, I can go ahead and link that in the iCard. And I haven't decided if I want to do a flat out declutter video later on this month or at the start of 2021, or if I want to give those products kind of one last chance and instead save them for my Basket of Doom series, because I am considering seriously making that a series because I feel like I have too much and there are plenty of products in my collection I don't use on a regular enough basis, so they really need to go through my Basket of Doom and see if they're going to come out the other side and stick around or not. But as always, I am blabbity blah blah over here. We're not here for that. We're here to see my highlight collection. And before we jump right into that, for those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Natalia and I am doing a year-long no-buy for the entire year of 2020. I'm also attempting a 12 days of beauty. It's basically 12 videos that I'm trying to get up before Christmas in participation of VLOGMAS. And if you guys are also on a no-buy or low-buy or looking to possibly start one in 2021, that seems to be the buzzword in the YouTube community. I feel like a lot of people with all the happenings of this crazy year may have gone slightly overboard with their shopping, and I think are scaling things back a bit. Plus, I think 2020 just had a ton of fantastic releases and people scooped up a lot of things, and now they see that a lot of things can be duped within what they already have. So if you're all about that, we're just looking for any inspiration to use up things you already have, then I hope you will consider subscribing and joining our frugal family. And with that, let's jump in and talk about all of my highlighters. All right, where do we start? Clearly, I have a lot. Let's start with some highlighters that are currently in my fall Shop My Stash. I know it's already practically winter, but I am still milking my fall Shop My Stash. And those highlighters are this Lavrova one in Starlight. I will go ahead and try to swatch these, but I don't know how that's gonna come through on camera. Highlighters can be a tricky thing. This one is very powdery. You probably could see that as I was swatching it, but it is beautiful. I really have been enjoying this highlighter all year long. It's probably been one of my favorites. And again, this is the Lavrova highlighter in Starlight.
We have a siren. Anyone surprised?
This one's definitely sticking around. I also have this one, the Urban Decay Afterglow 8-Hour Powder Highlighter in Sin. I pulled out 3 highlighters for this Shop My Stash because I wanted to compare what they look like on my skin. I felt like they were very similar. So we have, second one is in Sin. You can see they are a little bit different. The Urban Decay one is definitely a tiny bit darker. I would say the Lavrova one is more champagne-y, whereas this one is a little bit, I don't want to say gold, maybe more like antique gold, rose gold, something along those lines. But on the face, I do have to say, they are fairly similar. And before I show you guys the other Urban Decay one, I'm going to show you the third highlighter that is in my Shop My Stash currently, and that is this Pixie and Aspenover one in Santorini Sunset. So this one is probably the darkest of the 3, a bit more peach. peachy gold. But again, I'll be honest, on the face, especially the two bottom ones, I don't know, on my skin tone, I usually can barely tell the difference. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference in a swatch. I mean, up close here under, you know, non-camera lighting, I can tell they're slightly different. As I said, I feel like the Pixie Beauty one is a little bit more peach, but between these three, my goal at some point is to just keep one. Now, I still haven't decided, and it might take me some time to get down to just one. You know, I might go from 3 to 2 and then maybe one day to just one, but that's kind of where I'm at. And I think I've decided on one that eventually is going to go first, but I don't think I'm going to quite do that today. I think today we're just going to go through the collection and not worry so much about what I am or am not decluttering. Right, since I already showed you guys these two, let's do their sister-brother situations. So this is the other Urban Decay highlighter that I have. This one is in Aura. This one has a bit of a shift. I really enjoy this one. It's like a pinky purple, and it definitely has a shift. So I would say this is kind of like almost a duochrome. Again, I don't know if the camera is gonna pick it up, but this one has some color shifting properties in there. It's got like pink and purple, and of course some specks of gold interlaced in there. So really, really pretty one. And then the other Pixie one that I have, which I do prefer because I am so fair, is the one in London Lustre. This also came in the Aspen Overt collab years ago. Let me build that one up a bit. So there's that one. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I should turn this swatch party around because you guys will probably see things better on this side. And maybe I should put aside the ones that I have already swatched. Okay, let's see. Let's get the Becca ones out of the way because actually they are the only ones I am not going to swatch except for the little one. And that's because I have two other full sizes that are still brand new. I did a video all about a bunch of products in my makeup stash that I have yet to use, and I still haven't gotten around to trying these two highlighters. And at this point, especially with what I'm going to be doing next year as far as just my budget and my project overall, and hopefully it'll make sense later on, I am not 100% convinced yet that I'm going to keep both of these. I might, still might. I haven't fully decided, but for now, I'm just going to show them to you guys and not swatch them just in case. So I have the Prismatic Amethyst, and if you guys have these and you want to convince me one way or another, or you want to tell me if I have other ones that might be comparable, please let me know. But this is the Prismatic Amethyst. I may have tried this one once, but honestly, it still looks brand new. I can't remember if I ended up doing that or not. So for now, I'm going to refrain from swatching this one. I also have this one in Vanilla Quartz, and this one looks like that. This looks like it's another one that probably has a shift. I think both of the Becca ones probably do, or at least a little bit. I remember Becca used to have a whole like geode collection, and I really wanted all of those. They were like slightly smaller sized highlighters that had a shift, and I never ended up getting them because I don't know, I guess I felt like I just have way too many highlighters, which let's face it, I do. I remember they even went on sale and I still never bit the bullet, and to this day I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit, but I'm sure that there's going to be newer and bigger and better out there, so it's not the end of the world. This one does look really beautiful. It has kind of like the limited edition packaging, different color, and as I said, this is in Vanilla Quartz. This is Moonstone by Becca. This is one that I've had for a while, one that I've used a lot. You can probably tell it's quite loved and beat up and used and abused. It even has a little bit of hard pan almost, but it is still very buttery, really beautiful. And again, I feel like this is so similar to these two that I just don't need all of them. So I should have pulled this one into my Fall Shop My Stash to compare against these three, and I didn't think to do that. So at some point, I really need to still make that happen. Sorry guys, I keep moving around because my legs keep falling asleep. Alright, now we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Umbrazy highlighter. This thing almost has a life of its own by now. This thing is like a legend in the highlighting world, and I did not get it initially when it first released, but then they did bring it back one time, and that is when I picked up one for myself and then eventually one for a friend of mine who saw it and absolutely fell in love with the whole aesthetic of it, the design, this wave that it has. It is a beautiful highlighter, I do have to say. I wish I used it enough. The problem is I am so fair that it is a highlighter that I really can only use when I have a tan, and that happens once every decade, if that. And I wish I was kidding. No, but I really do need to figure out a way to use this more often because it is a beautiful highlighter and I don't give it nearly as much love as I should. Okay, I have two highlighters from Ofra Cosmetics. I have their highlighter in Pillow Talk, which I really enjoy. This is actually half of the Samantha March Start Inspired highlighter. She combined this shade together with, oh gosh, now I'm blanking out on it and it's gonna be bothering me probably the rest of the night until I'm done filming and I can look it up. But I'm sure those of you that watch YouTube regularly or follow Samantha know exactly what I'm talking about. I've always wanted her highlighter, not only because I love this one, but because I've always wanted to support her. But this whole year I've been on my no-buy, and she released her collection in March of 2020. And even though this highlighter, or her highlighter I should say, came out last summer first, and it was even named something totally different. It was named after her Instagram account, March Beauty Word. Back then I couldn't financially justify it because I already had half of that highlighter technically in my collection. And I guess if I was being honest with myself, I probably still can't justify it financially or otherwise, but I'm still debating. I still might one day pick up her highlighter, just again, mostly because I really have always wanted to support her. But here's Pillow Talk. It is of course a very pink highlighter, which I find they look quite nice on my fair skin. It is beautiful. I think Ofra's highlighting formula is definitely a great one, and I am certainly not against one day trying more of their products as long as it makes sense as far as, you know, fills a void in my collection or I can afford it, etc. But for now I'm super excited to have Pillow Talk. And then I also have this highlighter in Beverly Hills. This is in the old packaging, and I received this as part of, I believe, a BoxyCharm years ago. I keep holding on to this highlighter because it just has so many options. I do have to be honest though, because of the size of these pans, it is a little hard for me to use because with my fair skin, there's really only a few shades that I can make work here specifically as a highlighter, and those are this side of the pan. Definitely this coppery gold is way too dark. I mean, I could use this as an eyeshadow, but here, just to show you guys that shade separately, I mean, you can see, right? I don't even have to swatch it, but I can do that right here. Like, look at that. That would look stunning on somebody who is of a deeper complexion, but on me that's just ridiculous. But I do try to isolate this shade sometimes and use this one as a highlighter because I think,
yeah, my neighbors are stomping around.
Because I do think this one, especially in like the dead of winter, looks really pretty on me. I also really love the tone of this color. Again, it's a bit dark, this antique bronze. I'm gonna swatch that right there. But there's something about that shade that I just find so gorgeous, like so seductive and sultry, and I should probably use that more as an eyeshadow as well. And then this shade I can definitely use as a highlighter because again, it's kind of similar to a lot of these other champagne colors that I'm showing you guys, only in the Ofra formula, which is beautiful. I should probably do this, swirl them all around for you guys and show you what that looks like. Now that already becomes too dark for my skin. Beautiful, but too dark. So this is a highlighter that I keep for very specific purposes, but I don't use it enough because it's just a little cumbersome. It's kind of tricky. Like now I'm gonna have to dust all of this away with a brush so that I can use these individually because I've just gone ahead and made a mess out of it, which is okay. It's makeup. It's okay to be a little messy. All right, I'm gonna pull up my sleeves here and keep on moving. I have two highlighters from Laura Geller. This is their Gelato Swirl line. I love this formula. Their really famous one was Gilded Honey. For a few years here on YouTube, it was like the only highlighter everybody, it felt like, was talking about. And I did have it and I did sell it a while back because it was just too dark again on me. It was kind of like a Morizi, only even more gold and even more deep. So definitely didn't work out for me, but I went ahead later on and found these two. I think this peach one I found at a discount, and I do really like this one. It's a little drier, but on the skin it looks beautiful. And then this, in case you can't tell by how rubbed off the design is, this one is one of my favorite highlighters. Also a little drier. Maybe I guess I've just forgotten that it is a different formula than I feel like what people are used to nowadays. I feel like nowadays everyone wants that super wet, super blingy highlighter. But sometimes highlighters like this that are buildable, you know, they have a place and a time. And I really do like this formula. I think it has just the right amount of shine, that glow from within. You can build it up so that it is just as blingy as any of these other ones. And I don't know, there's just something really special about this formula for me. To this day, these are some of my favorite highlighters. Let's talk about ColourPop. So I actually bought all three of these last year at the Black Friday sales.
These two. Noise.
These two I bought because I heard Angelica Nyquist rave about them, and her highlighter always looks so incredibly spectacular. But then again, what doesn't look incredibly spectacular on her? And I succumbed to it all. I love villains in most Disney movies, much more so than the princesses. So I absolutely had to have Cruella, you idiots, you fools, you imbeciles, because hello. This is very glittery, but I still really enjoy it. This is not an everyday highlighter for me by any means. It's more of that sheer base, a cream base, because, you know, ColourPop makes those putty products. And then it just has a lot of shine and glitter. Again, I don't know if you guys can even see that on camera. Can you see the shine? Because of course the clear base is just melting into my skin, and all you are probably seeing is the glittery specks. But it's a cool highlighter. Again, definitely not an everyday. This is one I use fairly infrequently, but it's fun. Now this one I like a lot more. This is the Ursula for Unfortunate Souls, and this is another one with a shift. It's another pinky purple highlighter, except this one is in more of flat cream form. You can see again that shift. It also has more of like a transparent base and then a shift. Is it possible to show you guys the shift? I hope so. I guess I'll find out later on when I edit this. Let's hope I don't have to refilm. Okay, I went ahead and took off some swatches from here because I figure maybe somehow I can fit these on my arm so that at the end you guys can see all of them in action all at once. So the last ColourPop highlighter I have is in Flexitarian, and this one I bought because everyone has been talking about this for so many years. It's so smooth. It is so shiny. I guess I'll put it right there back on that thumb. I mean, look at that. Look at that. It's really cool. I do really enjoy this one. This is probably one of my oldest and one of my most favorite highlighters. It's quite a bit more subtle than a lot of other ones I own, but never emphasizes any texture. It never fails me. It is gorgeous. This is the Laura Mercier highlighter, the Matte Radiance Baked Powder in Highlight 01. I've recently been seeing these at TJ Maxx and Marshall's stores for $12.99, which is incredible considering this highlighter I think is over $40 or something like that. This guy, you can see on my finger, it does give more of that slight matte to sheen finish. We're gonna put it right there. But just like the Laura Geller, it's, can't explain it. There's something just so magical about this highlighter once it goes on your skin. It has that perfect sheen. It's not too much, it's not too little. You can build it up. You just look like you are healthy. You look like that is how your skin is, and you're drinking your water, you're taking your vitamins, you are exercising, and you just have your act together, and it shows on your skin, and that is what this highlighter gives you.
So for somebody like me, who doesn't always drink her water, and who doesn't exercise, and who's not always, her healthiest, this is a godsend.
We have this Kevin Aqua highlighter. I have the same highlighter actually in a palette, so I'm also kind of toying with the idea of what do I do with this thing. This one is in Starlight, which is funny because the Lorac one is also called Starlight, but they are not at all alike. This is a beautiful highlighter. I really, really love this highlighter. It again has kind of like a peachy tone to it. Gonna put it right there. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Sorry, I know it's on my knuckles, but it's such a gorgeous highlighter. Again, it's one that does not really emphasize texture as much. It's much more smooth, which, if you've noticed, is kind of how I prefer my highlighters. I mean, hey guys, almost 40 over here, so I gotta do what it takes to look like I'm glowing, but without accentuating all the lumps and bumps. And it even has its own little pouch. How cute is that? And then before we get into some of the creams, I saved the best for last. This was a gift this year from a fellow YouTuber, a fellow New Yorker, and someone who's become a dear friend through this whole YouTube journey of ours. Her name is Tan. She has her own channel, and I'll make sure to link it down in the description bar. We've even done a collab, and she was so kind. She heard me mention this in a video about how much I wanted. This is the Benefit Cookie highlighter, and she went ahead and picked this up as a gift for me this year since I could not get it for myself being on my no buy. So I've been using this in the corner just because it's so beautiful. I didn't even want to ruin the whole pan, but oh, look at that. Isn't that stunning? I adore this highlighter. It is so beautiful. So beautiful. There it is right there. I hope again you guys can see that. Oh, so pretty. Oh, it has a little bit of flexitarian in there, kind of. Flexitarian I feel like is a little more icy. This one's a little more warm, but it looks great again on my skin tone because I'm pasty white, and a lot of these lighter colored highlighters are my jam. And then we're down to just some of the creams that honestly I don't use enough. I really need to make it a point to. I'd like to see if I can go through some of these more subtle creams where I mix them in under my foundations or with my foundations. And then the only two that I would use, I think specifically as highlighters, would be this Algenist Reveal Concentrated Illuminizing Drops. This is in Rosé. This was a surprise product of 2020 for me because it was something I purchased, again, I think at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, and I finally put it in a Shop My Stash and used it this year, and I was so pleasantly surprised by how much I liked this. So we're gonna put that right there. Can you guys see that shine? Maybe I should add some more. Okay. Sorry, I'm doing this with the opposite hand. I'm a lefty, so doing this with my right hand. Look at that. I mean, now this is a little much, of course, but it is beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And I have used this quite a bit this year and really, really enjoyed it. So this is probably the only cream highlighter ever that I have reached for fairly consistently. I have this Josie Maran Argan Enlightenment Illuminizer. This one, it gets clumpy in the nozzle, which kind of drives me crazy. There's like a clump that I'm trying to break up. I mean, it's pretty. I feel like it's a little too deep to use straight up as a highlighter. So again, this is one of those products, maybe I can use it under some foundations, especially some overly light foundations. Not that such a thing really exists in my life very often, but let's put the rest of that there. I'm not sure about this product. This might be a basket of doom product one day. I also have these Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. What are these called? These are not the poured, these are the spotlights. So I guess like the liquid ones. I have it in Opal and in Pearl. Pearl is actually in my pan project, and Opal looks like that. Again, sorry for the awkward swatching. This is not very comfortable. And no, sorry, this is, what did I say? This is opal, this is pearl. I hope I said that right. I don't remember what I just said before. So these are really pretty, and I really probably should try to use them as actual liquid highlighters as opposed to just under foundation luminizers, but I haven't yet. And then this, I don't even remember why I have this. This is the Cover FX Moonlight Drops, and this is in Clair de Lune, which of course I do love the name. I am a concert pianist, for those of you who don't know. So, you know, of course, Claude Debussy's Clair de Lune instantly comes to mind, which is a really, really famous piano work that the French composer Claude Debussy wrote. And Clair de Lune means moonlight. I don't know, I feel like for me at least, maybe because I am so fair, this is a little dark to be moonlight. But then again, it is very, very sheeny and reflective. So I could see why it was named Clair de Lune, and I definitely should try to use that. I'm just worried that it is too deep on my skin tone, and I'm gonna have to either give it to somebody else or figure out some sort of other use for it.
Oh my gosh, my whole floor is covered in highlighter. Not surprising, I guess.
Before we wrap it up, I have two kind of honorable mentions. These are actually two eyeshadows, but I bought them with highlighting in mind. These were buys that were definitely YouTuber made me buy it, a type of product buys years ago, and I still have them. And that is these two eyeshadows. I have the Essence eyeshadow in Snowflake, which back in the day, a lot of people were using as a highlighter. It is this beautiful icy eyeshadow, and I'm sure it would also look gorgeous as an inner corner highlight, but for somebody as fair as me, that could definitely work as a shifting pearl highlighter. But I'll be honest, I think I used this as a highlighter twice. And then I have the Kat Von D, because back then she was still Kat Von D, and this is the Metal Crush eyeshadow in Thunderstruck. Where am I going to put it? Let's do it here. So you can see that right there. It's definitely a shifting shade, dual chrome, or I don't know, is it a multi-chrome? Did those things even exist back when she made this? No, I would say this is a duochrome. It does shift. So you can see that's a beautiful shade as well. And again, I haven't really used both of these enough as highlighters. I need to try to challenge myself to do that, or start using them actually on my eyes, which unfortunately I don't do too much with my single shadows. I will do a single shadows makeup collection at some point. You'll probably see these make a reappearance in there. In the meanwhile, let's look at this gorgeousness one last time. So here are all of my liquids, and here are all of my powder. There's a couple here on my thumb, and then there's all of these. Oh, doesn't this make you so happy? Anyone else is like me and loves swatching their highlighters? I do this from time to time. Just sit down and swatch a bunch of highlighters, and it just makes me so happy. This is just so glorious. All right, I brought back all of my highlighters just so I can say a goodbye to you guys with all of them here one last time. I thank you so much for watching, and I just want to remind those of you that haven't already to consider subscribing. I would absolutely love having you here. I hope that you enjoyed seeing my highlighter collection, and I really would love to hear what are some of your favorites, whether you own any that I have, what are some recommendations that you might have for me for 2021. I certainly don't plan on going crazy. I think I've mentioned before I will have a budget, but I'm always open to hearing your thoughts and just hearing what everyone is loving out there and what are some of your must-haves. I thank you again so much for spending some time with me, for joining me during my Vlogmas series. Fingers crossed I can get my 12 videos of Vlogmas up before the end of December 25th. And other than that, I hope that you are all staying safe. I hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself and those around you, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye.